Today we are reviewing Dead Hook from JoyWay Games, developers of Stride, Against and some others, and this review is based on my 4 hours of gameplay on Quest, and for the recording purposes I'm using PCVR. To be clear, the PCVR capture is purely for the FOV and frame rate. Capturing on Quest rarely gives you a good representation, and I can confirm the game does look as awesome as it does here inside the headset itself. Let's start with a bit of backstory and info. Dead Hook is a physically active roguelike, and you are exploring an elder planet called Resurrect. You play a mercenary called Adam Stone, and you're looking for a soul item that's apparently very important, but to be completely honest, I forgot what it is, and even though the voice acting is really good, the developers have really tried to push a story here. I personally didn't get to grips with the story and completely lost focus, and my whole focus of this has been the gameplay, which is awesome. But for how long? We'll get to all that in a minute. Throughout the game, you'll unlock and find around 8 to 10 guns ranging from pistols, miniguns, rocket launchers and assault rifles, which also vary in class and colour. Now, not only do these guns scale in damage, they also get things like every 5th bullet is an explosive shot, for example, which really adds a draw for the player to put the work in to unlock these different guns. There's also perks, and similar to most roguelikes, some could be beneficial and some could be a risk for reward. Like, for example, doing more damage with your shotguns in exchange for losing 10% of your health. And then finally there's cash. Cash can be made by killing and selling unwanted guns and spent on upgrades. There's also a roulette machine and the ability to store up to 1,000 coins, so if you die you won't lose them. So far, so good. There's a good variety of enemies that are ground and air types. They have different ways of killing you, and in turn, you have different ways of killing them. Some have only one purpose, say to grab your face to stop you using your hooks, and the only way you can get them off your face is by releasing your gun and pulling them off. There's a big beetle that you have to hook shot to throw on its back, revealing its underbelly, which is the only way to damage it. Some are straightforward, of course, but you get the idea. The developers have definitely put a lot of thought into the gameplay loop. There's clearly Doom Eternal inspiration here for Dead Hook, and I absolutely love it. Damage an enemy enough and they'll flash different colours, giving you the opportunity to hook shot and smash into them to gain health. Similar to Doom Eternal, and it never gets boring. Oh, that reminds me. Throughout the gameplay, you will pick up items which can be used to mix into different cocktails to inject into yourself to enhance things like how much health you gain from doing one of those hookshot kills, to improve your armor and your overall health. The game has a lot of unlocks and perks to keep you grinding. When it comes to gameplay, I personally love the loop here. It's fast and frantic and makes you feel amazing in VR, especially when you start mixing up different weapons and flying around the levels using your energy blades for a ton of instant kills. The hook shotting is super satisfying too. Again, this is all sounding amazing, but there is some downsides, and I guess the downsides depend on how you approach this game as a gamer. This is a roguelike, meaning kill, die, enhance and repeat. It's good for a while, but the levels, or at least the colour scheme and design, get very repetitive and old quickly. This is a very arcadey game, and the depth is reliant on the unlocks, but the gameplay itself can become repetitive. If you're at this point of the review thinking you're going to buy it anyway, play it in smaller doses, 1.5 hours tops. If you played too much, you can get easily fatigued, and the same thing that made it quite cool when you first started playing will soon become boring. You see, with a game like Doom Eternal, you're on an adventure with a constant changing landscape and different worlds, and you feel like you're on a journey. This game will simply throw the same levels at you over and over, and while I came away super impressed with the gameplay because it feels so right to play in VR, you can grow tired of it. Personally, I want to give Dead Hook a 7 out of 10. I really hope the roguelike gives way to a true campaign with everything else in this game in mind. Roguelikes are a very easy way to avoid level and world design, and I feel that's the big downside here. Regardless of the 7 out of 10, I think everyone will enjoy the first 2 hours. It's a brilliant arcade rush. Thanks for watching, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.